Marcus Aurelius once said that you have power over your mind, not external events. Understand this, and you will find strength. Are you familiar with the frustration of a mind cluttered with noise, the agony of indecision, or the paralysis by analysis that comes from overthinking? We've all been there, replaying conversations, anticipating outcomes, and trying to solve an endless series of worries in our heads. Today, we are going to tackle this challenge head-on with 10 practical Stoic strategies to overcome overthinking. If you're looking for ways to break this cycle and reclaim your mental space, be sure to click the notification bell and subscribe now. Visualize your tendency to overthink as if it comes from outside yourself. This habit can arise unexpectedly, like a fog suddenly invading a sunny day. It starts with a single worry or idea and quickly grows, threatening your balance. This is a common challenge in our current world, flooded with incessant information like a hailstorm. Our minds get caught up in thinking, what if? What next? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor and philosopher, taught that the happiness of our life depends on the quality of our thoughts. That's why our first technique is to view overthinking as an external element. It's not about making it an enemy, but rather recognizing that these thoughts do not define our essence, they disturb our tranquility. Imagine these intrusive thoughts as clouds passing across the sky above a mountain. You are the mountain, solid and enduring, unaffected by the clouds' passage. How do we combat these overwhelming thoughts? Stoicism invites us to observe them without getting involved. Visualize placing these thoughts in a transparent bubble that drifts away gently. This mental technique not only eases their grip but also reinforces the understanding that thoughts are temporary. They can only disturb your inner peace if you hold on to them tightly and give them importance. Regularly practicing this visualization develops a mental habit, allowing you to detach and let these thoughts go before they trigger an emotional storm. The more you train yourself to distance from this constant stream of thoughts, the easier it will be to realize that you are not merely the sum of your thoughts. This awareness acts as a shield, like earplugs in the middle of a cacophony. It requires conscious and regular effort that strengthens with daily practice. When you catch yourself overthinking, take a pause and imagine these thoughts as mere noise, without substance, and separate from your true self. By doing so, you not only defend against overthinking but also gradually reclaim your mental space and serenity. Take control by refocusing your energy. Have you ever found yourself lost in a spiral of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, ruminating over the same worries repeatedly until you're mentally exhausted? It's like having multiple tabs open in your mind's browser, all playing videos in full screen, without being able to press pause. This cognitive overload is typical of our era, where the demand to manage everything at once can plunge us into a constant whirlwind of rumination. But just like a cluttered desk, a cluttered mind needs to be cleared. Rechanneling your mental energy is essential not only to regain peace of mind but also to take back control and reduce the incessant noise of what-ifs to appreciate what is. Seneca, another great Stoic, perfectly captured this idea by saying, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." This precept is the key to taking back the reins by focusing your energy and stopping overthinking. Start by grounding yourself in the here and now, focusing on a task, even a minor one, and directing all your energy to accomplish it. This refocusing interrupts the cycle of what-ifs and anchors you firmly in the present. The implementation is simple yet significant. Engage in an activity that requires your full attention. It can be as basic as tidying your desk, taking a short walk, or getting lost in the pages of a book. These actions live in the present, not in the past or the future. By deliberately aligning your thoughts with your actions, you are not just distracting yourself, you are taking control of your mental energy. Remember, Stoicism does not advocate for suppressing thoughts but for ordering them by consciously choosing where to invest your mental energy. It's a form of mental discipline. The goal isn't to banish overthinking completely, which would be unrealistic, but to recognize when your thoughts aren't constructive and have the tools to redirect them. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice this ability to refocus, the stronger your mind becomes and the more resilient you will be. You'll find that the once overwhelming flow of overthinking can be tamed, wave by wave, through deliberate actions and sustained attention. Embrace impermanence and practice detachment. Our minds often have the unfortunate habit of getting stuck in a loop, rehashing the past or worrying about the future. This is the playground of overthinking, where our thoughts latch on and linger long after they've outlived their usefulness. This tendency to ruminate knows no boundaries, affecting everyone from students anxious about exams to professionals stressed over presentations, or anyone trying to fall asleep while their mind races. At the heart of this mental noise, we can find guidance in Seneca's teachings, who said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and in leisure, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing." This profound reflection from Seneca is an invitation to meditate on impermanence, a cornerstone of Stoicism. When we succumb to overthinking, we tend to cling to our thoughts as if they were an integral part of our being, when in fact, they are fleeting. By practicing letting go, we learn to let these thoughts drift away as easily as they appeared. Imagine your worries as leaves falling from a tree in autumn, present for a moment, then carried away by the wind. By adopting this perspective, we do not ignore our thoughts or pretend they do not exist. Instead, we accept their transient presence without attaching to them. This allows us to avoid letting these thoughts take root and become chronic worries that rob us of our peace of mind and inner serenity. Each time you find yourself holding on to a particular thought, remind yourself of its impermanent nature. By practicing the recognition of the impermanence of your thoughts, you develop the ability to let them pass without clinging to them. It is a skill that requires practice and patience, but with time, it can become a powerful tool to help you cultivate serenity in the face of life's daily challenges. Worries are common for us humans, like the persistent background noise of a refrigerator, quiet but always there. These worries tend to creep into our thoughts at any moment, whether at work, during relaxing moments with friends, or even in the dead of night, preventing sleep. Our minds sometimes seem like a stage occupied by invasive worries that refuse to step aside. Consider then the advice of the Stoics: if you want to advance, be ready to look like a fool and an idiot. This phrase, although counterintuitive, helps us value our inner peace rather than let worries overwhelm us out of fear of being seen as careless or ignorant. Setting aside a specific time for worries is an effective technique to confine these anxious thoughts to a designated moment, away from the main hours of our day. Choose a specific time, perhaps 20 minutes in the early evening, where you allow yourself to fully address your concerns. During this period, let yourself delve into your worries, analyze them, discern their origins, and if necessary, write them down. Ask yourself about the real nature of these problems. How likely are they to occur? What can you do to influence or prevent them? This deliberate ritual often reveals that many of our worries are mere illusions, impressive in appearance but lacking substance when scrutinized. By confronting them directly, your mind learns that there is a time and place for everything, including worrying, and that time is not constant. Once the worry period is over, move on. You have dedicated time to your concerns. Now, set them aside. This segmentation helps restore control over your daily life. It's not about eliminating worries entirely, such an expectation would be unrealistic. However, by confining them, you minimize their impact on your life. This approach is akin to organizing your living space. By placing thoughts where they belong, you enjoy the tranquility of an ordered space. You will likely notice that worries lose their grip when they are restricted in their scope. And life, as a result, becomes lighter and more enjoyable. Breaking down overwhelming thoughts into manageable steps is indeed a powerful way to regain control of your mind when you're overwhelmed by thoughts. Imagine carrying the weight of a huge boulder, symbolizing the countless responsibilities and expectations that weigh on you. Each thought, Worry and obligation is like an extra stone added to this burden. Marcus Aurelius understood this concept well when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words encourage us to see challenges not as barriers but as steps along the path we must take. So, when faced with a major problem or concern, the first step is to break it down into digestible pieces. Ask yourself about the next immediate action, the smallest practical step you can take. By focusing all your attention and energy on this action, you not only reduce the size of the obstacle in your mind but also transform the paralyzing energy of anxiety into a driving force for action. This approach is like gradually untangling a massive knot, tackling each small entanglement one by one. It's not about denying the complexity of the situation but rather navigating it with intention and focus. The simplicity and effectiveness of this technique lie in the fact that it creates a cumulative effect. Each small step accomplished builds momentum. And before you know it, the intimidating boulder of worry transforms into a series of small stones you've already crossed, one by one. This approach teaches patience and perseverance, strengthening confidence in your ability to face obstacles head-on. What once seemed insurmountable becomes a path you've already walked, and the endless cycle of overthinking dissolves into clarity and a sense of accomplishment. Shifting your perspective toward gratitude is like opening the windows of a smoky room to let in fresh air. Our minds have a tendency to trap us in cycles of obsessive thoughts about our shortcomings, potential failures, or unfulfilled ambitions. It's an exhausting trap that can deprive us of joy and appreciation for what we already have. Indeed, overthinking is often rooted in excessive concern for the negative or for what is lacking in our lives, obscuring the positive that deserves our attention. The Stoic philosopher Seneca beautifully captured the essence of gratitude when he said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." This thought forms the basis for the next technique to counter overthinking. By practicing gratitude, you bring to light the positive aspects of your existence. It's about taking a thoughtful pause to acknowledge what already enriches your life. Whether you find gratitude in your relationships, your health, your career, or even in the small joys of daily life, there are always aspects of life to be thankful for. Gratitude is not just passive reflection, it's a dynamic action that brings your mind back to the present moment and realigns your thoughts toward what is constructive and enriching. It serves as an antidote to overthinking by shifting focus from worries to appreciation, allowing you to rediscover the richness and beauty of your life in a new light. By breaking free from these cycles of overthinking and actively engaging in gratitude, you cultivate a more positive and balanced mindset. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or difficulties but rather choosing not to let these aspects dominate your thinking entirely. Gratitude is like a muscle that can be strengthened with regular practice. And by doing so, you can transform the mindset of insufficiency into a deep appreciation for the fullness of life. Practicing meditation and mindfulness is like anchoring a boat in rough seas. It provides you with a point of stability amidst the noise of your thoughts. Overthinking can be seen as a series of crashing waves, each trying to pull your attention away from the shore of inner peace. By meditating, you train yourself to stay grounded, even when noisy thoughts try to carry you away. Meditation is a concentration exercise that invites you to step back from the incessant flow of thoughts and return to a focal point of tranquility, such as your breath or a specific mantra. This daily practice can become a haven of peace, where you learn to observe your thoughts from a detached perspective, acknowledging their presence but not letting them carry you away. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is an extension of meditation that you can apply to every moment of your daily life. It's about fully inhabiting the moment, welcoming each thought, emotion, and sensation without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you can begin to recognize the subtle beauties of the present moment, often overshadowed by anticipation of the future or regrets of the past. The ability to remain in the present becomes a powerful force, reducing the impact of overthinking and equipping you with tools to better manage stress and maintain lasting peace of mind. Setting boundaries with technology is essential to maintaining balanced mental health in the digital age. Electronic devices have become omnipresent companions, but their constant presence can create a cacophony of distractions that fuel overthinking. To regain control, it is necessary to create conscious boundaries. Disconnect to reconnect. Start with moments of voluntary disconnection. Choose periods of the day when you completely turn off your electronic devices. During these times, engage in activities that nourish your mind and body, such as reading, meditating, or taking a walk in nature. Custom notifications. Review and customize your notification settings. By turning off non-essential alerts, you reduce the number of interruptions in your day, thereby diminishing the temptation to dive into a constant stream of information. Set fixed times for technology. Establish specific time slots for checking emails and social media. By limiting them to certain times of the day, you can fully focus on other tasks without the constant interruption of technology. Digital breaks. Incorporate regular digital breaks into your routine. This could be one evening a week, weekends, or during vacations. Use this time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, and your environment. By setting and respecting these boundaries, you will likely find that your mind becomes calmer and clearer. You will start to notice a decrease in the impulse to react to every vibration or beep, which can greatly reduce your overall stress. Overthinking, often woven with self-criticism and relentless judgment of one's actions and thoughts, can be soothed by practicing self-compassion. It's the art of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts or find yourself harshly criticizing yourself, take a moment to remember that you deserve empathy, especially from yourself. Speak to yourself with the same gentleness and patience you would offer someone else in difficulty. Encourage yourself to accept your thoughts without judgment and to forgive your mistakes. Seek wisdom outside yourself. Our minds can sometimes feel like a labyrinth where every turn leads to more confusion and overthinking. We try to solve a puzzle only to discover that the pieces keep multiplying, leaving us stuck. This is overthinking in a nutshell, a cycle that begins and ends within the confines of our own thoughts, often with no clear way out. Seneca said, "Consult your friend on everything, especially on the matters that concern you." His advice may then be useful where your own self-love might impair your judgment. These simple words summarize a profound truth that can help you navigate the storms of overthinking. Stoicism teaches us that seeking outside insight can break the cycle of rumination. It could be the fresh perspective of a friend, the impartial advice of a mentor, or the timeless wisdom found in literature. To apply this in a modern context, seek out people whose opinions you trust and respect. It could be someone in your social circle or a professional with the experience to guide you. Sharing your thoughts with them can help in two ways. It provides clarity as you express what's troubling you, and it opens the door to objective feedback that you might have missed while lost in overthinking. This technique does more than provide practical solutions, it reminds us that human connection is invaluable. When we share our burdens, they often become lighter. This is not a weakness but an acknowledgement of the collective strength we have as social beings. Let the wisdom of others be the light that guides you out of the shadows of overthinking. With each conversation, you'll find that the puzzle becomes easier to solve, not because the problems are less complex, but because you're no longer trying to solve them in isolation. Your perspective is essential to enriching this discussion. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What have you discovered outside your own labyrinth of thought? How can collective wisdom enlighten us all? Subscribe to our Stoic Wisdom channel to continue this journey of learning and discovery with us. Every comment, every like, every subscription helps us build a community of engaged thinkers. Together, let's walk the path paved by the Stoic sages and illuminate one another.